Just a reminder that all proceeds from our YouTube channel are donated to charity. Please help us help others by giving us a thumbs up or subscribing to our channel. Your support makes a difference. In this video, we're doing a countdown of surprise expenses, some small, some significant, that we've personally encountered while sailing with AmaWaterways and Viking. We cruised with both lines just weeks apart in 2025, so the comparisons are fresh. While some of these extra costs might apply to other river cruise lines as well, we're sticking to what we experienced ourselves. Of course, there are exceptions to almost everything we list here, and we're not going to cover every possible scenario in this video to keep things concise. If you've had a different experience, whether it saved you money or cost you more, let us know in the comments below. So let's get to it. Let's start this countdown with something simple: laundry. If you're used to larger ocean cruise ships, you might be expecting a self-service laundromat on board. But on river cruises, that's usually not the case. Most river cruise ships are small, and that space just isn't available. While a few river cruise lines do offer small self-service laundrettes, that's not the norm on either Viking or AmaWaterways. The one exception we've found is AmaMagna, which does provide a small self-service laundry room for passengers. On Viking, laundry service is available for a fee unless you're staying in a veranda suite or higher category, then it's included. On AmaWaterways, you'll only get one complimentary bag of laundry if you're in a suite. For everyone else, it's a paid service. Now, the good news is that prices for laundry service aren't outrageous, and here are sample price lists so you can get an idea of what to expect. That said, we like to be prepared. We travel with laundry detergent sheets cut into small strips that are easy to pack and perfect for hand washing a few items in the sink. We hang them to dry in the shower or magnetic hooks if they work in our particular cabin. We also never travel without a small bottle of Downy Wrinkle Releaser. It helps freshen up clothes and smooth out any creases from packing. We've talked about this before, and it continues to be one of our go-to travel essentials. Links to these items are below if you want to see what we use. So while laundry isn't always included on river cruises, it can range from zero added cost to a moderate expense depending on how much you need done, or if you're in a suite on either Viking or AmaWaterways, you may not spend anything at all. Between the two, Viking comes out slightly ahead if you're in a veranda suite or above, since laundry is fully included. On AmaWaterways, only one bag is free in suites, so you'll pay more if you need extra. We love that the AmaMagna has a self-serve laundromat, but most Ama ships don't have this. Another added cost to plan for: gratuities. For the crew, Viking recommends 20 euros per passenger per day, while AmaWaterways suggests 125 euros per passenger for crew and 30 euros per passenger for the cruise manager for a week-long cruise. That works out to almost the same for a 7-night cruise. You'll also want some cash in euros for tips during shore excursions. A general guideline is to tip local guides about 3 to 5 euros per person per day, and drivers around 2 to 3 euros per person per day, depending on the length of the tour. None of these expenses are extreme, but they do add up, especially if you're budgeting for two. Still, when you step back and look at the overall picture, these added costs come out pretty equal between Viking and AmaWaterways. There's no clear winner here, but knowing what's not included helps you plan ahead and avoid surprises. Continuing with other potential extra costs, another area that can really add up is optional shore excursions. With Viking, one excursion is included per port, usually a guided walking tour or panoramic city tour. You can see what excursions will be offered for your itinerary right on Viking's website before booking, but you won't see the prices of any optional excursions until you've booked the cruise and have access to My Viking Journey. For example, during our Viking Grand European Tour, we wanted to explore Nuremberg's World War II history in more depth. The included tour only scratched the surface, so we signed up for 2 optional excursions that day, Nuremberg in World War II, and Surviving the War, Art in Nuremberg. Those 2 tours combined cost $238 per person, just for that one day. It was worth it for us, but it's definitely something to keep in mind when budgeting. In contrast, AmaWaterways includes nearly all excursions, and many days you'll have multiple included options to choose from, with different activity levels and themes. On our AmaWaterways cruises, we haven't spent anything extra on excursions. For our style of cruising, AmaWaterways was the winner here. If you're like us, you'll probably end up spending quite a bit on optional excursions with Viking, but not with AmaWaterways. Every excursion we paid extra for on our Viking cruise would have been included on AmaWaterways, with the exception of Art in Nuremberg, which honestly was one of our least favorite tours we had on Viking. And yes, we checked. That said, this is an area that really depends on the type of cruiser you are. Some travelers are perfectly happy with the included options and enjoy more independent exploration. But if you like a deeper dive into history, culture, or food experiences, be prepared to budget extra on Viking. For us, AmaWaterways takes the win in this category because they offer more included excursions. Now let's talk about something that might not be top of mind when you're budgeting for a cruise, but should be: airport transfers. The biggest difference here is the cost and inclusion of transfers when you arrive independently, especially on the day of embarkation. On our Viking cruise, we paid $79 per person for the transfer from the airport to the ship. Compare that to AmaWaterways, which charges a more modest €30 per person for the same service. But here's where it flips. Viking includes transfers to and from your hotel if you purchase a pre- or post-cruise extension through them. With AmaWaterways, we were surprised to find that airport transfers are not included with their land extensions, so you'll need to arrange and pay for those separately. Now, for both cruise lines, the only time transfers are automatically included is if you book your flights through the cruise line itself. If you arrange your own air, you'll need to factor in transfer costs, or organize your own transportation, which often costs less and is faster. We don't have a clear winner in this category. While we appreciate AmaWaterways' lower-cost transfers, we were surprised to find that transfers weren't included with an extension, something we haven't encountered with other cruise lines. Because Viking includes transfers with their extensions, which is more in line with industry standards, we're giving them the edge here. That said, if we're not booking an extension through the cruise line, we typically arrange our own transfers through services like Viator or Welcome Pickups. Since we're talking about airport transfers, this is the perfect time to bring up arriving early because flights can and do go wrong. We always recommend arriving at least one night before your cruise begins, no matter which cruise line you sail with. Missing a connection or having a flight delay could mean missing your ship. You might also miss a day one excursion. Arriving early gives you a buffer, time to rest, and peace of mind. Now, both Viking and AmaWaterways offer pre- and post-cruise extensions that bundle in hotel stays and may have guided activities. In general, they're convenient but costly. Here's one big difference. AmaWaterways includes guided tours every day during their extensions, so you're getting more for that premium price. With Viking, tours are not included unless you book one of their premium or fully guided extensions, which are priced higher. We have to say, Viking does provide a broader selection of land-based extensions like Lake Como for Rhine River itineraries. Expect to spend anywhere from $500 to over $3,000 per person for each extension, depending on location and length. These estimates are based on a Rhine River itinerary as of 2025, but actual costs can vary depending on your specific itinerary, travel dates, and other factors. If you're willing to arrange your own hotel and transportation, doing it independently can often be cheaper, but it does come with more effort, and you won't have a cruise representative or local guide on hand to help if something goes wrong. So if you prefer convenience with support in a new city, the cruise line's extension might be worth the splurge. But if you're comfortable going solo, arranging time on your own can definitely save you money. When it comes to extensions, we believe Viking has the edge thanks to their more appealing locations and the fact that transfers are included. That combination makes them the winner in this category for us. Of course, if you're looking to save money, Planning your own pre- or post-cruise stay might be the way to go, but whatever you do, don't risk missing your cruise. Arrive at least a day early. Let's shift to something a little less exciting, but still essential: travel insurance. After putting so much time, energy, and money into a trip, the last thing you want is for an unexpected illness, flight delay, or missed connection to derail your plans. That's why we usually have some level of coverage, even if it's basic. But this is one of those areas where everyone's risk tolerance and personal situation really make a difference. Both Viking and AmaWaterways partner with major insurance providers to offer optional policies that typically cost around 8 to 10% of your total trip cost. While these prices are fairly standard across the industry, shopping independently may save you a bit, especially if you're comparing multiple providers. Just remember that travel insurance policies are complex, no matter where you purchase them, and it's important to understand what is and isn't covered. Prices can also vary based on your age, destination, and other personal factors. When it comes to travel insurance, which we strongly recommend, neither Viking nor AmaWaterways comes out ahead. Personally, we prefer to shop around to find coverage that best fits our needs. Now let's talk about another expense travelers often ask about: alcohol and drink cost. On both Viking and AmaWaterways, wine, beer, and soft drinks are included during meals. Bottled water is complimentary on excursions as well, so if you're content with a glass of wine at dinner or a beer at lunch, you may not need to budget much more. AmaWaterways also includes a complimentary sip and sail cocktail hour each evening, offering a nice selection of pre-dinner drinks at no extra charge. But what if you like a cocktail or two outside of mealtime? On Viking, the Silver Spirits beverage package covers unlimited cocktails, premium wines, and additional drinks outside of meals. It costs about $25 per person per day, which adds up to around $350 total for 2 people on a 7-day cruise. Next, we'll flash some sample menus, but if you need better copies, feel free to email us. If you skip the package and instead buy drinks a la carte, cocktails and premium wines typically range from $8 to $15 per drink. If each of you has just 2 drinks per day, that adds up to between $224 and $420 for 2 people over 7 days, potentially more than Viking's package. Sodas outside of meals are usually around $4 on both cruise lines, so if you drink a few throughout the day, those can quietly add to your tab as well. In our experience, we didn't spend much on drinks beyond what was included. The wine and beer at meals and Ama's Sip and Sail Hour were more than enough for us. But unlike some other river cruise lines like UniWorld, which include drinks throughout the day, you may want to plan and budget for this category depending on your preferences. Another important cost to consider: airfare. Both Viking and AmaWaterways offer airfare assistance and sometimes advertise free or discounted airfare promotions. Viking tends to run these more frequently, including a free airfare flash sale happening as we film this, and often markets 2-for-1 airfare deals throughout the year. That said, always read the fine print in the terms and conditions. Free or discounted airfare may come with limited routing options, long layovers, or restrictions on upgrades. We personally prefer to book our own airfare. It gives us control over flight times, layovers, seat choices, and the ability to use frequent flyer miles or maintain elite status. Whenever we've checked airfare costs outside of the cruise line promotions, they've rarely saved us money, but it's always worth comparing. If you're someone who values flexibility, booking flights independently might be the way to go. But for travelers who prefer the convenience of packaged air or are looking to maximize limited time deals, Viking gets the edge here. Our last item isn't an actual cost, but it's something that surprises a lot of people when planning a Viking cruise. If you're an experienced cruiser, especially with river, expedition, or ocean lines, you're probably used to making your final payment about 90 to 120 days before your trip. But that's not the case with Viking. Viking requires full payment much earlier, often around a year or more in advance. And if you've watched our channel before, you already know this is one of our biggest concerns with Viking. We've talked about this in detail in previous videos and blog posts. Why does this matter? Well, even though Viking offers enticing early booking discounts, they're asking you to fully commit long before you sail and long before most other cruise lines would expect it. That means you're locking in a large outlay of cash, sometimes 12 to 18 months in advance. We think it's important to go in with your eyes open. This isn't necessarily a deal breaker, but it's a planning factor and financial commitment that you should consider up front. AmaWaterways is more in line with the norm, requiring full payment 90 days before departure. So as we've said before, they are the clear winner in this category. Let us know in the comments below. Have you ever had an unexpected cruise expense? Your experience could really help others who are planning their first river cruise. So here's how it all added up across the 9 extra expense categories we covered. Viking came out ahead in laundry, transfers, extensions, drinks, and airfare. Gratuities and travel insurance were a tie, since those really depend on your travel style and preferences. AmaWaterways took the win in optional excursions and the early payment policy. This isn't about naming a better cruise line, it's about helping you plan and budget smarter. We didn't total up the costs because everyone travels differently, but now you know what to expect and how we typically handle each of these expenses when we cruise. We hope you enjoyed this video about extra costs you should expect on Viking and AmaWaterways river cruises. Always remember to make meaningful and healthy travel happen, and we'll see you next time.